Hi, I'm Sam with BatchStovez, and in this video I want to talk to you a little bit about dry baking. My 12 centimeter dry baking combo the sales have been really good. I'm very pleased. I appreciate all the support and all of the of you who have purchased the kit. So much that I ran low on the 16-ounce dry baking dish and have made another batch, and they're off getting the anodized finished, and hopefully I'll have those back in a couple of weeks, I hope, before I run out. But I had a lot of people ask me about, Sam, why don't you make an egg ring to put in the bottom for dry baking? Well, there's a couple reasons why I could do that. It's not a problem. I have the center sections of the aluminum bottles that I don't use, and I could cut 1-inch slices off of that or 3/4 inch slices off of that and make dry baking rings. They would work great, but really you don't need to. All you need is this right here is just a piece of baking sheet or oven liner, just an aluminum tin, an aluminum sheet that you get at your home center, grocery store type things. The bottom of it was just a 1.5 inch strip that I cut and folded in half, and then you just simply put it together and make you a nice ring. It's very lightweight, it's free, and works great. It's about 3/4 of an inch thick. You can stick it right on the bottom of your dry baking dish, and you can see it gives you a pretty good amount of space right there. Now, I want to do a series of videos on dry baking using different kinds of stoves. You've seen the video on the BatchStovez adjustable flame stove. This stove I really like for dry baking simply because I can boil water in about 8 to 10 minute range with this stove on high, and then if you turn it down and close the vents, you can simmer with this stove for about 30 minutes on 1 ounce of fuel. It was really good for dry baking because it has a low heat output when it's turned down to low. It does real well with dry baking. A penny type stove. This is a penny stove that I slightly modified. What I did was, it's basically like a it has your thumb screw, but what I did was there's no jets. There's just 3 1/4 inch holes, as you can see, and then you take a piece of carbon felt and put over that, and this is just a washer made out of the bottom of a soda can, same, and you slide that over there and screw that in, and that's it. And then you just fill the stove up. Once you fill the stove up, you just put it back together. And then just tilt it a little bit and get the felt wet, like the wet, and it burns. It doesn't burn real hot, and I think it's going to do good for dry baking. I haven't tried it. I made this stove a couple of years ago. It didn't work as good as I wanted it to for boiling water, but because it wasn't hot enough. But I think it'll work really well for baking. So I'm going to give this a try. Definitely going to have a pot stand for this. And another stove that I'm going to do some dry baking test on is a remote fuel stove. Now this stove looks similar to those designed by Teeny over at Mini Bull Design. But this is not his stove. This is a stove that I made. And the reason it looks so similar is a 2-piece design using a silicone hose to connect the top and the bottom half. I like this design. This is it's actually pretty genius how why I think he came up with this. I think his main purpose was to keep a separation between the top and the bottom so that the bottom doesn't get too hot. And I'm not sure if it works well for that with my particular stove. But what I like about it is, versus just one solid piece of aluminum that's been milled out, is you can have different tops, wider, smaller, different configuration tops, and use the same base. And I think that's the best part about this two-piece design, is having a universal base and then being able to change the top, or vice versa, change the base and use a different top. So that's why I like this design. This is just a prototype I made up, and it works good for dry baking. So I did the video on the Jiffy Corn Muffin mix, and I'm getting a lot of questions. Sam, do you have to use cooking spray in your anodized dry baking dish, or any kind of oil or anything? And the answer to that is no. And you'll see in these next few videos that I don't use any kind of cooking spray, no kind of cooking oil, and the baked goods, they just pop right out. Now I'm sure there's going to be some things that you bake out there that will stick to this, but from what I've tested so far, biscuits, not a problem, muffins, not a problem, and I'm going to redo the cornbread. Haven't redone it yet, but I'm going to redo it without any cooking oil and see how that comes out. Let's take a look at some dry baking video. Hi, I'm Sam with BatchStovez, and today I'm going to do some dry baking using the BatchStovez 12 centimeter dry baking combo with the 10 centimeter dry baking dish. I'm going to be using an aluminum ring. This was just cut out of a aluminum bottle. And drop it down in the bottom. And then I have mixed up some Betty Crocker triple berry muffin mix, and you just add water. This it's about half a package in here. I did not use any cooking spray because I want to see how well this anodized finish on the dry baking dish, how well it is keeping food from sticking. So I'm going to drop that in the 12 centimeter dry baking dish. Put a lid on it. I'm going to be using a remote fueled alcohol stove. This is just a stove that I built. It's a prototype that I built. It's similar to a mini bull design. It's a two-piece design with the silicone hose in the middle to hold the two pieces together. The stove that you need for dry baking needs to have a boil time of about 12 minutes. The trick I've found, at least in my experience, is you want a stove that will boil 2 cups of water in approximately 12 minutes. Let's start a timer. I don't know if you can see this timer or not, but got a timer started. This should take about 20 minutes or so, 20 to 30 minutes I would say. So back to the stove design. You want a stove, whatever stove you use for dry baking, ideally one that takes about 12 minutes to boil 2 cups of water. I found that the heat output of that type of stove is really perfect for dry baking. The remote fuel stoves seem to be in that range, and they tend to work well with dry baking. The BatchStovez BS 1.1 works very well for dry baking. In the simmer mode with the vents closed, you can do some dry baking. And you don't have to worry about it. It's not remote fueled, so you just pour the fuel in the top, about 1 ounce. You get a 30-minute burn time on 1 ounce. You can also boil water. It boils 2 cups of water in around the 8-minute mark on high, and then you can turn it down to low for dry baking. And like I said, you get about a 30-minute burn time for this. So this is kind of one of those set it and forget it type things. You just turn it on low and put your pot on there and come back later, and you're 30 minutes later or so, and you're dry baking whatever you're baking, your muffins are done. So this is a nice stove to have for both boiling and dry baking. I've seen dry baking done with Esbit fuel tablets type stoves. I think penny stoves may work. I've got a penny stove design that I want to try out, see how well it works with the dry baking. It's kind of a modified penny stove, so we'll try that and see how well that works. I'm using heat gasoline antifreeze, which is 99% methanol. It burns at a lower BTU output than your denatured alcohols. The heat output of heat is around 9,500 BTUs, and your, I think that's right, I'll have to check. You can check my website on that, I'm not sure. And your denatured alcohols are about 500 to 1,000 BTUs higher than that. I'll be using a windscreen because I do have a fan running. I'm in my shop and I have a fan running, so I don't want to blow the flame out, so I'm using a windscreen. And I think the carbon felt windscreen helps tunnel the heat around the dry baking dish, the cook pot setup. A lot of people are getting into the dry baking now, and why not? It tastes good. It's not too hard to do. It's fun. So a lot of people are getting into that. People get tired of, dehydrated food and ramen noodles, and so this is a good alternative to dry baking. John over at Flat Cat Gear, he's done a lot of videos on dry baking using fuel tablets, stoves. He has a setup, a baking setup, works very well for him. It's not as, I don't think it's as clean burning as heat, and it leaves a little residue on the bottom of your pots, but he's baked all kinds of stuff, and John's a good guy, so stop by Flat Cat Gear and take a look at his stuff. Maybe you can get some inspiration from some of the things that he's baked and tried to bake using alcohol burners, alcohol stoves. Like I said, this video is going to be long, so I'll probably do some editing. Nobody wants to listen to me for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, so I'll definitely edit this video and shorten it. We're at about the 6-minute mark now, so we'll come back when it gets closer to the end, and we'll see how things are going. Okay, we are about 18 minutes in, and we're smelling like muffins. Center's dry, but still kind of spongy. Sides are starting to brown. and I think probably around 20 minutes we should be good. So we'll check back in about 20 minutes and see what we have. Okay, I got tied up doing something else. We're about 21 and a half minutes. 21 and a half minutes. And it's hard to say, but looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and take it off. Blow out the stove. And we'll let that sit for about 5 minutes and see what we have. Let you take a look and see what we got inside. It's not brown on the top, but on the sides you can see that it's browning on the sides. Now remember, there was no cooking oil, cooking spray, or any kind of cooking oil I used on the dry baking dish, so we'll see how it comes out of there. But give it some time to cool off, and then we'll take it out. Should be around 5 minutes or so. See what the internal temperature is. Looks like around about 200. I don't know if you can see that. It's around 208. Internal temp's about 208. And comes out clean, not wet. Pretty sure we're done. So we'll let this sit, rest for a couple of minutes, then I'll take it out and let it cool off for about 5 minutes, and then we'll take it out. Okay, so it's been about 30 minutes total, as you can see by the timer, and we've let it cool. And the temperature of the muffin now, is about, it's still warm, but I can pick it up. It's around 147, 150 degrees, 149. It's changing, but about 150 degrees, so it's not exactly cool, but cool enough to where I can pick up the pot, the baking dish. So pick it up, tap on the bottom, shake it around, oops, and then we'll flip it over, tap the bottom, and there you go. There is some crumbs, I would say crumbs, in the bottom of the dry baking dish, and you can just take a paper towel and without too much trouble wipe that up. Of course, if I had a little bit of water, it probably help, but just with a paper towel, you can see you can get it fairly clean, and comes right out. And that's without any cooking spray, strictly just your the anodized finish. And again, that is a Betty Crocker triple berry muffin mix. It's just add water type mix, and there you have a triple berry muffin. Nice and golden brown and spongy and soft. And as you can see, it's cooked well in the middle. Works well. You can't really beat that if you're out on the trail. Tastes good too. So there you have it, folks. The 12 centimeter dry baking combo from BatchStovez. I think it's a great addition to any cooking ultralight cooking gear. Stop by the website at www.BatchStovez.com. Stop by and see us and check out our products. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and have a great day. Thanks for watching.